Mustn't fold your arms, looks defensive, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. This is Gary Johnson then, Lincoln away. Gary, start of the season finally here. Obviously James Rowe announced last night. Presumably that was just a formality. Was it completing the paperwork?
Yeah, it was. He needed to do a medical anyway, and he'd had a slight little strain on his thigh. But yeah, it was a formality really, because almost from day one, the reason why I've kept him here throughout his rehabilitation with his injury was because I like him as a person, I like him as a player, and I think he'd be perfect for our squad, the way we want to play and the shape we want to play.
Does that mean now just the one loan signing you're still chasing, or are you done now?
No, we're not quite done. Do you want me to say now? Yeah. I think we're going to. I'm keen to put JJ Hooper on our books because I feel he gives us that what we call stretch player in behind. I've seen a lot of him, more than anyone else probably. Myself and Pete have seen him, and we've followed his career for a little while, and he hasn't quite shown the Cheltenham fans just yet exactly what he's got, maybe little bits, but he will be a very efficient squad member as well. So the board have kindly gone over budget again for about the 5th time, and appreciate it, because I'm able to convince them that they're going to have a good player in the mix, and so I wanted to do that one. So that should be sometime today. There's a coup for you. We still got to sign him, of course, but he's agreed everything, so that's fine. And the saga on the loan player is still ongoing, I'm afraid, and he certainly doesn't look like he's going to be here before the start of the season. But there's a bit of politics at the moment at his club, and we're just going to have to either wait for that to settle down or go and look for someone else.
And presumably you've got plan B and probably plan C lined up, have you, just in case, or at least thoughts in your mind?
Yeah, we got the alphabet lined up, to be honest with you. It's not just A and B. We have got people that we know would be available to us as and when we need them. And we just have to see, touch wood, we don't get any injuries on Saturday, but if we did, and it was a key player, and I didn't feel we had somebody in the squad to fill that place, just centre half we're a little bit short of at the moment as cover, then we know that we can go out and get someone within hours.
The pre-season have gone much better for you?
No, I think pre-season's been fantastic. The reason is because we got all the boys near enough from day one. I know it's 16 signings now, and we've probably had 14 of them in at the start of pre-season. So that gave me a good 6 weeks to work with them. There's a lot of clubs still sort of making late signings of their starting 11, but we've worked for 6 weeks with what I felt was going to be the starting 11, and that hasn't changed much anyway. So it's turned out well for us, and we've seen what the boys have got. I think there's a positive mood amongst our board of directors and our supporters, and that's really important, because we want them all behind us when we kick off our home game on Tuesday.
And because those players have performed well in pre-season, does that make actually picking your team for Saturday a relatively easy task?
Yeah, I think so. I think it, barring maybe one or two, people could pretty much guess what the starting lineup is going to be. Unfortunately, so could the opposition probably, but we've got to be better than that, and we've got to make sure that whatever other teams see of us or think of us, we've got to go and perform and put in that desire and quality that you need to win football matches at any level. But this level, the desire and the quality comes very high on your list.
A game's harder to win at the start of the season because every team I suppose, goes into it optimistic.
I don't know about harder to win. I think they're more important to win because you need a good start. You're going to need 20 points after the first 10 games, and then you'll find yourself certainly in the top couple, top 2 or 3. If you maintain that throughout the season, the 2 points a game, you'll end up getting promoted probably. You'll be really unlucky not to on 92 points. So 2 points is, we have to keep thinking that, because you're going to have good days, you're going to have off days where you might, not played very well and lost 1-0 somewhere, and it's not a disaster if you can win the next 2. So your points tally has got to be good, and if you can get into credit early, so you're getting more than 2 points a win in your first few games, then you're in credit, and that settles you down, and it means if you lose your first 2, suddenly you've got to win your next 4 on the trot to get back into normal sequence if you want to win the league. So the start is very, very important.
Yeah, I suppose it's about getting that momentum and keeping the positivity going, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and the confidence. There's positivity here. The boys are very positive about, I think, their teammates. They're positive about the tactics. I think they believe in what we're doing. I know that through the meetings we have and the DVDs that we watch and them on the training ground. So I'm pretty comfortable that the boys are going into the games having prepared properly, and certainly I'm mentally pretty sharp on what I want them to do.
How much homework have you done on Lincoln at this stage, or is it more all about you?
There's a song there somewhere. It's not all about us. It's about knowing the strengths and weaknesses of the opposition. Obviously, if you've prepared properly, you've done any homework you've needed to do, and really that's all we should be saying, because at this stage, all teams will be looking at the local newspaper reports of their opposition. They'll be looking at YouTube things of the opposition. They'll be looking at fans forum, supporters' views on things if they're the opposition. So if they're preparing properly, they'll be doing what we're doing, and that is making sure that we've got all the information of our rivals that we're coming up against.
Thank you, good luck.
No problem.
How much of a sort of reality check was last week? Have you noticed a difference in the attitude of the players since what happened at Wimbledon?
Yeah, I don't think it's a reality check. We didn't really put it in that way as if they'd failed. What we did, we had a half where the opposition's tactics caused us a problem, and so we can learn from that, knowing that if opposition tactics change for whatever reason, or it's different to others, which Wimbledon's were, then we have to cope with it, deal with it, but still get our game going. And I felt that we watched them a little bit play their game instead of us taking over the game early enough. We did in the second half. We totally took over the game. So I know I can get a reaction from the lads at half time, but sometimes you can't be that angry before the first half. You have to wait to get angry, don't you? Otherwise you're acting. But anyway, we've got to get them lively and get them to start well, not give the opposition any advantage in the first 5 or 10 minutes, because then you're chasing and opposition need to sit back and pick you off every now and again. So we've got to make sure that our tactics are spot on and their concentration is spot on. So we've learnt from it as opposed to a major overhaul.
You mentioned control the game there. How easy is that going to be to do away from home rather than at home?
Well, when we're all little kids and we all played football, and I say to the lads, you was all probably the best player in your team when you're 12 and 13 years of age. You were still the best player wherever you played. So we played on this part, that part, good pitch, bad pitch, muddy pitch, flat pitch, so they were still the best players. So really, it's a mental state when you go away from home, and we've got to try and psychologically make them feel that they're still going to be good players, whatever pitch they play on. It just means you've got a little bit less support, but even then, it should be a spur to you to show the opposition supporters that you've got a good team and be proud of it.
You mentioned the first 10 games. I think 5 of those come in effectively a fortnight.
Yeah.
Have you almost set a target for those 5 games, knowing that they come thick and fast?
Any targets yet? We'll talk about that in the next couple of days. But our target is always, as every team says, you've got to try and get your 2 goals a game and 2 points a game on average. And then you'll be very, very close.
Yeah. Obviously, JJ coming in, and Zach's gone out this week. Are there likely to be any more movements, maybe on loan or?
Yeah, I think so. There might be 1 or 2 if the right opportunity comes along for them. I see that some people might be a bit disappointed that some of the young lads have gone out, but I have to make a judgment at the start of the pre-season as to the brief is to win the league. We've got to be promoted. So I've got to decide and bring in people that I think have got the experience and the quality that has played at a higher level, like the young lads that I've brought in have played in the first division and so on, etc. Played for Premiership clubs, albeit under 21s. And I just felt our young lads are not quite there yet, but I don't want to lose any of them. But at the same time, I don't want them building up all week to a game that they might not play in. So I'd rather them, certainly for the first 28 days or so, I'd rather them get games. I'm not trying to move any out because I think there's some good players there, and I'm sure they'll blood themselves in time during the season when we need to. But we've got to get that first 28 days out of the way so that then I get recall. So if I can do that with as many as possible, it helps me, it helps them, and it gives them something at the end of the week. So we're doing it in a positive sense to the ones that we got left. There's some that I've moved out that are not in our plans, but certainly the ones that we'll be loaning out now, your Harrys, Bobbies, Bowens, maybe Hanksy, someone like that. They're all good players. They're all good lads. And we certainly don't want to lose them, but we want to make sure that they're ready when they're needed.
In your management career, have you ever fielded a team of 11 debutants in one game?
No, never.
So this will be a new one for you.
Yeah, this will be the first time. Yeah. I've never had to do that. Generally, I've been at clubs long enough where the lads have had 2-year, 3-year contracts sort of thing, and then you get someone in, someone moves out. So really, you're only moving 3 or 4 players basically. But certainly to get in a new group. But as we sit here right now, I've been really pleased with the business that the club's done. I really have, and credit, as I keep saying it, credit to everybody. And obviously we've got some new sponsors in now, and the budget's still the same. But I'm sure the board have decided that we can go slightly over because hopefully if we've got a better team, then we get better games. We'll have a run in the cup, all those sort of things. That's what you've got to hope for, and we've certainly speculated, and I've pushed, and I'm very happy, as I say, with the business that we've done, and credit to the club.
Excellent. Thank you,